Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the dragon-speaking lamb. Now, I'm going to tell you right quick. I'm going to make some things that a lot of people say in prophecy are complicated very simple because we need to understand them. Now, before I go into it, we're asking everybody to join Prophecy Club. If you watch it, even occasionally, we invite you to actually join. Only $9.90 a month. It's simple. Just get your camera, put it on, or get your cell phone, put it on camera, and aim it at that little QR code down there. And then you'll see a yellow box pop up on your camera. Touch the yellow box, and it'll take you there. So our topic is a dragon-speaking lamb. And I promise I'm going to make these complicated scriptures simple. Simple because, frankly, we need to understand them. We're about to see this. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Now, this is the false prophet. But we're not looking today at just flesh and blood. We're looking at spirit. Came up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Meaning, yes, it's a flesh and blood person. I believe it will be probably not this pope, but a future pope. Because two of the people have seen him and said he was a young guy. Okay? So it ain't the guy that calls himself pope right now. Now, and he exercises, well, okay, I'm going to put it simple. He has the power, and I do not think it is spiritual power. I think it is high technology. And what I think happened, while I can't prove it, I think that it was probably high technology that caused the burning at the Maui fires. And I think that they're going to be using that kind of high technology, and that's the point of the broadcast today. High technology, don't believe it. Don't believe it. He exercises all the power of the first beast, that would be the Antichrist. So the situation is, the false prophet has the power of the Antichrist in the presence of the Antichrist. That's what it's saying. And he causeth the earth and them that dwell there to worship the first beast. Okay, so we have the false prophet, which is a flesh and blood false prophet, I believe, a future pope. And that's what all the other prophecies were said, a future pope. And when he is in the presence of the Antichrist, he can also do fantastic things, like call fire down from heaven on the earth and the sight of men. I think it's just technology, but this is the point. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. That's a big point I want to get to. And he doeth great wonders. What is that? I'm saying, brothers and sisters, do not let this guy deceive you. Do not believe the high technology. Don't let them sit there and say, oh, well, it's because he's real strong and you got to believe him, you got to accept him as God. No, it's just high technology. He deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of that high technology or those miracles. They're not miracles, but the world will think they're miracles, you understand. The less educated they are, the more they will say, oh, wow, well, he can do all these miracles. He's got to be God. No. When he's in the presence of the Antichrist, then the Antichrist will say, all right, I'll let you do the miracles. Or not miracles. I'll let you use the high technology. I'll let you deceive them just so you can get them to worship me. So he deceives the people on the earth by high technology, that is what's saying, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image. Now, this is another big point I want to make today. They should make an image to the beast. Now, what is that saying? Put that down here. Let's look at this. Look at this closely. He deceiveth them that dwell in the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the first beast. All it is, brothers and sisters, it's just high technology. That's all it is. I want to give you an assignment. I want you to go to this site here. I can't say the word, okay? I want you to go to this guy here, okay? Then I want you to look up this word here. These words, okay? Look them up right here. Let me just highlight it right there. Boom. Go look that up. There's several people, but he had a deathbed confession. You might want to watch it 2 or 3 times. I'm actually asking our people to put it into text. I think it's that important. The thing I want you to hear, though, is this. that he says in 2024, and he's not a prophet, he's saying this from inside information he has. In 2024, they plan to form a world government. Here's how they're going to do it. I've been wondering this a long time, so it was a big answer to me. They're going to use Project Bluebeam, which is basically a big hologram that they project up into the sky. And they can put anything in the sky. If they want to make, say, a fake rapture, they can make it appear, people floating up in the air, or coming down from the earth, or they can make the face of God in the sky. They can do anything they want to with this Project Bluebeam. It is basically putting holograms in the sky. That's all it is, okay? So when you think that you're looking at a UFO, probably nothing there. He tells that he went into a hangar, and they said, look, and I'm not going to talk about it specifically, but it was an object floating off of the ground, and he said it looked as real as anything I've ever seen. But it wasn't even there. It was a hologram. In other words, they have perfected is a better word, they have perfected holograms to the point to where you can look at it, and until you actually reach out to touch it, you wouldn't know it's not there. So they can project whatever they want to in the skies. I want you to know that. I want you to remember that. Matter of fact, I talked about this in my book, Miss the Mark, which, by the way, if you haven't got it, you should go to prophecyclub.com and get it. Anyway, Miss the Mark, prophecyclub.com. So he said in 2024, they're going to use Project Bluebeam to fake an alien invasion, they call it disclosure, by using holograms. Now, September the 27th, I believe it was, 1987, Ronald Reagan said if there was some kind of a case where we were being invaded, we would have to unite together and form a world government to fight together. Matter of fact, here he is saying it.
It is a renewed feeling of confidence in the United Nations,
da confiança,
and a keen perception of its vital role in the strengthening of peace and cooperation amongst peoples.
Let swords be turned to plowshares? Can we and all nations not live in peace? In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Now, I want you to be prepared. If something like that happens, you just kind of chuckle and say, no, tell all your friends, no, that's not real. Okay, it's deception. Revelation 13:15 says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. I do not think that it is a real life human being. I think it is some kind of a clone, some kind of a hybrid, something between, I remember Genesis 6 says, the sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men, and their offspring were giants. It's something like that. It is not made in the image of God, and I believe it's going to be connected to the quantum computers, which is the global computer network, so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark and the name of the beast or the number of his name. So he had power to give life in the image of the beast. This image is then going to speak, and you see that word cause, it means they issue orders. Whatever this being is, it's probably going to look a lot like the Antichrist, which we don't know what or who that is yet. We've heard some people have dreams about it. They may be right, but we haven't actually seen him. So he speaks, he issues orders, commands the people of the earth to make this, whatever it is, some kind of a clone. I believe it'll be tied into the computers. And the clone says, everybody got to worship this guy, pointing to the Antichrist. Now, I said that I would break it down so it's simple. So essentially what these scriptures are saying is, it is a lamb, not a flesh and blood lamb. It is a person, but it is a false prophet, a person that speaks the words like the dragon or devil or the Satan or Lucifer. And he deceives how? Bible says miracles, but what we understand it to be is high technology. So we have a false prophet that wants to deceive the world, causes the world to make some kind of an it, whatever it is, okay? And that it commands everybody got to worship the it, and also got to worship the Antichrist, and he deceives by high technology. But we know all power in heaven and earth has been given to us as Christians, okay? All power in heaven and earth was given to Jesus. And then he calls the disciples in. He says, I'm giving you power over serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall hurt you. Meaning, we have authority over it. But if we get caught up in the deception, if we don't see the deception, we won't pray against it. That's the purpose of this broadcast. We're trying to say, no, you're not going to deceive us. Now let's go on. So he orders the earth to make a what? A clone, I don't know, an image, something that's not in the image of God, all right? So he orders the earth to make an it. And that it speaks, issues orders, requires everybody on the earth to worship the it. Got that? The it makes the world worship the it, whatever it is. And kills the people that don't. Okay, now let's go on. Headline: Experts sound alarm over conscious AI, that's artificial intelligence, as they warn robots are evolving like humans. And it says the more AI advances, the greater chance it has of becoming conscious like humans. Did you catch that? What is this scripture saying? It's saying that there's some kind of an it. My opinion, this has to do with the it. The article goes on to say artificial intelligence is evolving at breakneck speeds, and this evolution has many people worried, with good reason I might add. Recently, an exasperated New Yorker piece asks, can we stop runaway AI? There is runaway AI right now. In other words, Lucifer has given us technology that he is pushing at breakneck speeds, what it's saying here. Runaway, why? Because we're about to see the Antichrist, the false prophet. We're about to see this image of the beast pop out. And it may, I'm not setting a date, but it may very well be that we start seeing it in 2024. As a matter of fact, for that, we might start seeing it today. We don't know. The answer appears to be no. Let me back up. Recently, an exasperated New York piece asks, can we stop runaway AI? The answer appears to be no. In other words, we are heading to an it, an image of the beast, a clone, whatever it is. As AI becomes more advanced, the greater chance it has of becoming conscious. Yes, like humans. In fact, some experts have argued that AI is already conscious. Did you catch that? Are they saying that the image of the beast is already made? Or is it already about made? Last year, a Google engineer by the name of Blake Lemoine claimed a collection of controversial large language models developed by Google was conscious. Did you catch that? Did they just say an image of the beast is already in place? According to a recent paper published by a group of 19 computer scientists, neuroscientists, and philosophers, we should prepare ourselves for conscious AI. What they're saying is we should prepare ourselves to see the it. Something that is not the Antichrist, not the false prophet, but it's something else. Some kind of an image of the beast. We should prepare ourselves to see conscious AI. The idea of sentient, that means consciousness, non-human intelligence is not far-fetched, as many thought. Imagine, their warnings should be taken seriously. Now, let me ask you a question. You may be asking me, a lot of people send me emails. By the way, thank you for your emails. Matter of fact, thank you for the information you send me. I cannot tell you how many programs are made from the information you send, so thank you. So what would convince me that we really are in the tribulation? Well, I'll tell you, I would like to see several of these. When I see a 10-nation group or confederacy formed, I'm going to start saying, well, we're getting pretty close. I'm already saying we're getting pretty close. One group takes control of most of the other nations. One man arises and conquers 3 of the other 10 nations. One man extremely smart, attractive, charismatic, and all the world says he is the answer to all of our problems. I start seeing some of this and I start saying, I tell you what, if I see one man arise, extremely smart, young, attractive, charismatic, and all the world wants to follow him, I'm going to say that's probably the Antichrist. One man's words capture all the true Christians. Just be careful, because that's what the Bible says. It was given him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given him to continue 42 months, and he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. This guy, this Antichrist, he's going to be hard to resist. I think even I will have to take a step back. A guy that's memorized the book of Revelation, I have to take a step back and say, now wait a minute, that's not real. That is really the Antichrist. In other words, he is going to be so deceptive, so good. Everybody on the earth is going to love this guy. He speaks great words, blaspheming God and his servants, commands all people to take a mark, worship him, or buy or sell. He commands all with the mark to kill all of those without the mark. That's the reason it says, here's wisdom. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. I got an email the other day. Do you think it's okay to kill people coming after you that want to give you the mark of the beast because you don't have the mark of the beast? And I quoted Revelation 13:10. Go look it up. I'm not covering it today. But I think it is specifically saying that Christians are not to kill them. If they're coming after you specifically to kill you because you do not have the mark of the beast. Here's the patience of the saints. That's what it says. He that leadeth into captivity should go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed by the sword. Here's the patience of the saints. He's saying, saints, this is my will. In other words, yeah, you're supposed to die at the hands of someone trying to kill you. What? I didn't write the stuff. I'm just reporting it. Revelation 13:10. Go check it out. Now let's jump in. I'm not going to read every bit of this. I'm not teaching through prophecy. I'm trying to keep it simple today. Essentially, these verses say there's 4 great beasts that come up out of the sea, and Revelation says the sea is people. Then we see a lion and an eagle. That would be America coming out of England. We see a bear, that's Russia, and then we see a leopard. In other words, this is the way you should look at it. USA eagle, Russian bear, Islam or Islamic leopard. Then it says, and I saw a 4th beast, and he was made of great iron. Iron is the Babylonian kingdom. Some people say it's the Roman kingdom. But essentially for us to think, I want you to think about Europe, the EU. So it's saying this guy's going to come out of the EU. But I'm going to show you other places where it's a little bit more expanded that. But I'm not trying to get complicated. I'm trying to be real simple today. Then he says, I consider the 10 horns, that would be 10 nations. And I beheld there come upon another among them a little horn, meaning the Antichrist. So what it's saying is there's going to be 10 nations, okay? A world government. If this guy Spencer is correct, Joseph Spencer, go look it up. He says in 2024 this happens. 2024, they form a world government with 10 regions, global regions. Then there's another one that comes up among them. So another one like an 11th guy. So now we have 11 horns, or 11 heads. Then it says, then before whom there were 3 of the first horns, or 3 nations plucked up. So there's 10, then there's another one that comes up among them. This guy overcomes 3. That makes, at that point, we have 8 heads. Okay, got it? When we see 10 nations, probably we're in the tribulation. Definitely, when we see another one come up among them, and he overcomes 3, when we see that happen, that's him. There's no question. That's the Antichrist. We definitely are in the tribulation. No question. In this horn were like the eyes of a man. Now, I've had a lot of people think, oh, well, the mark of the beast is not really a mark, and the Antichrist is not really a man. Well, there it is. Yes, he is a man. He is a flesh and blood man. I think spiritually he will be the spirit of Nebuchadnezzar. I'll talk about that in my book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. I'll give you like 8 reasons why Nebuchadnezzar is going to be the Antichrist, the spirit. Right now, I believe, and that is unless he's already been released on the earth, and Vicky Parnell says he has. As a matter of fact, also Terry Bennett and also Byron Pearl. Also, I think it's all 3 say he's already been released on the earth. But if he hasn't been released, he is falling endlessly and helplessly in the bottomless pit. But when he is released, then he comes into the body of the Antichrist. And in the middle of the tribulation, he's wounded, as it were, to death. Now, the Bible's not clear whether he actually dies or whether he appears to die or whether he should have died. But nevertheless, he comes out of it, and the way he comes out of it thrusts him onto the world scene. Who is like unto the beast? Who can make war with him, the Bible says. So, when he is wounded in the head till death, but his deadly wound was healed, when that happens, all the world says, who's like him? Who can make war with him? Everybody got to worship him, you see, and that's going to open the door to many deceptions. It took me about 20 minutes to make these 2 loaves in my kitchen at an ingredient cost of about $12 each. In a time of food shortage and emergency, I'm going to cut each one of these loaves into 14 slices. Eat a slice in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll be satisfied. You want long-term food storage? You want to cut your food costs? Here it is. Eat 2 whole wheat bread slices daily for about a year for about $800 each. JosephKitchen.com's wheat berries come in a nitrogen-infused 7-gallon pail for long-term storage. Most other emergency food costs about $10,000 per person per year. That's right, about $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph Kitchen, you could do it for about $1,000 per person per year. Now, to get started at josephkitchen.com, you're going to need a machines package. That's going to give you the grinder, the bread machine, the knife slicer, all you need to make bread, and then you decide how much food you want to get. You want food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just 1 person for a year, all at josephkitchen.com. About $1,000 per person per year at josephskitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Get you a $50 discount. josephskitchen.com, promo code Prophecy Club for a $50 discount on your first order. Rule number 1, make sure your name is written in the book of life. Rule number 1, ask Jesus to forgive your sins. That's the most important thing. Number 2, most important thing, whatever happens, do not take that mark of the beast. You take that mark of the beast, you can cut your hand off, you can chisel off your forehead, but you're going to spend all eternity with the beast, the false prophet, and 1,000 years later Lucifer joins them, and all the other people that take the mark of the beast, and there is no hope of escape. You are tormented. That means you're in total pain. It means that your body, although it's not a body of flesh, whatever it is, your body is totally being burned for all eternity, and there is no stopping it. There is no escaping it. Whatever happens, you do not want to take that mark of the beast, which, by the way, I would recommend you go to prophecyclub.com and get my book, Miss the Mark. As a matter of fact, it's sold so much, we are, I think, now going into the 5th printing. This book is simple. It only takes about 3 hours to read. It's designed to give to someone that's not a Christian, doesn't know Jesus, that hadn't read the Bible. Give it to anybody out there. If they'll read the first few pages, they'll probably finish the book. If they finish the book, I don't care what God they used to have, they're not going to take that mark of the beast. And chances are very strong they'll receive Jesus. So for that, I would send you to prophecyclub.com. 1 for $20, and you'll have to check and get whatever the other prices are. I will say this, they just went up substantially on our printing price. And so guess what? No surprise, we had to go up on our prices too. But nevertheless, not about money. It's about winning souls.